Today we're jumping into the business of cycling in Belize. Local cyclists have been making their mark regionally with the iconic Holy Saturday Cross-Country Cycling Classic leading the pack since 1928. Another standout event is the Creme New Year's Day Cycling Classic since 1991, which is considered the second most prestigious race in the Western Hemisphere. Belizean cycling fans are looking forward to this race scheduled 5 days from now. Joining us in the studio today to share insights into the world of Belizean cycling is cycling enthusiast and former General Secretary of the Cycling Federation, Mr. Alan Auil. Welcome, Mr. Auil, to Legacy Markets.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So, Mr. Auil, are we ready for January 1st? Are we going to be seeing any big things in 2024?
Well, I think that every year there's going to be improvement, and I think on New Year's Day in January, we have a lot of good, strong cyclists who are going to take the field, and I think they're going to do Belize proud. One of the reasons that the Creme Classic has become so big is that this is apart from the cross country, this is the one that also attracts foreign riders. And so we are expecting, a handful of foreign riders, and I think the Belizeans will be up to the challenge to be able to compete with them. Actually, just a couple weeks ago, there was a race, a pre-New Year's race, if you will, from Orange Walk to Belize City, a little bit shorter distance. And the race averaged 27.9 miles an hour. Which I believe, as far as I know, that might be the fastest race that we've ever had in Belize. So our boys are certainly improving, and they are getting to a very high level.
So there's a lot of talk about the New Year's Day Cycling Classic. We're all excited for it. Everyone is chattering about it. Are you aware of how sponsorship is going for the race?
I'm not quite sure. That's taken care of by the main organizer, Creme. Okay. So every year, and they've been doing it for some time, since, I think as you mentioned, 1991. This will be the 33rd running of the race. And they always handle the sponsorship. They deal with the prizes. They handle the costs of running the race. Mm-hmm. And they have never failed. So, with this much time left to go, I'm sure that everything is in order. They do get, their sponsors. So it's not all from the Creme company or the Cremandala company, but they find partners to do it with. And yes, I think everything is in place. The race will go off. The prizes will be handed out. Everybody will get paid. And yeah, it's in good hands.
How competitive are the international riders with our local cyclists, specifically for this upcoming New Year's Day cycling race?
Well, to compare it to the cross country, this year's cross country, we had, I think, 16 foreign riders, and they were all at a high level. We don't actually count what we call border town athletes. Border town is a term we use for the neighboring Quintana Roo, not just for any Mexicans, but only the ones from Quintana Roo in Mexico and from the Petén region in Guatemala. Those border town athletes can come in without any special requirement. We treat them basically as we do our Belizean. So when we speak about the foreign riders, we tend to think outside of even that area. Now, for the Creme Classic, we don't get the numbers. As I said, we had 16 foreign riders in the cross country. For Creme, normally we might get 1 or 2 or 3 only. But the ones that do come, they're coming to try and get paid, and so they're coming because they think that they can win. So it's much smaller quantity. The one American tends to come back quite frequently is a fellow by the name of John DeLong. And he has won the race before. And I expect that he probably will come again next week. And he is formidable. He is somebody that the entire field fears, and they prepare for him, and they know that the bunch that comes for Holy Saturday tend not to come for New Year's, but John DeLong is on the way. And this year he has even asked about bringing one of his teammates. And the teammate he wants to bring is a fellow who is a young guy, 31 years old. John DeLong, as a reference, is in his mid-40s. This fellow, Parker Kaiser, I think might be in the race. I hope he is. And he was a professional only 1 year ago. So it's a high level, it's smaller numbers, but a very high level. The foreign riders to have won the Creme Classic are much fewer than cross country. Obviously our fans, they're always saddened when we go through 3, 4, 5, 6 year stretches of losing the cross country, and that makes it even more joyous when a Belizean does win, because it's normally long in waiting. The Creme Classic might be the opposite. We probably have Belizeans win 6, 7 years in a row, and then maybe a foreigner would win. I think there might be 3 foreign winners for this race over the lifetime of the event.
You noted for the cross country, there was at least on average, I guess, 16 international riders.
We had 16 this year.
Okay.
In past years, we have sometimes had much fewer than that at the high level, at what we'll call a category 1 or category 2 level. The category 1 is the highest level of amateur. And in most past years, we get less than 10. This year we had 16. So we kind of opened it up a bit this year to try and bring more, to make it a bigger, better race, and to test the Belizeans so that, that the winner would feel, a greater sense of accomplishment. And we're happy that Oscar Quiros came through and did win.
So there's a lot of uproar about foreign riders competing in our local races, Belizean races. What's the feeling, at least the feeling of the federation of including these foreign riders to our local races?
Well, the federation finds it to be absolutely necessary, and the cyclists, they embrace the challenge. I think all the negative comments you might hear are from non-cyclists. It's from people outside the cycling community. The cyclists want the competition. The only thing that they are hesitant against is perhaps bringing a level of competition that is head and shoulders above our level. But if they are at our best level, maybe even a tad higher, then the locals really want it, and there might even be a sense, if somebody were to win a big race like these ones without foreign competition, that they might be thrown the label of being a paper champ. Somebody who only won because no foreigners were there. So the Belizean cyclists actually do embrace the challenge. There was, a few years ago, there was a policy where local teams could have foreign riders amongst the team working with the Belizeans, and that's the issue of contention amongst the local peloton. Some would like to restore that tradition of having foreigners come in, so that basically foreigners could be hired as mercenaries. Bring in somebody they could identify, some top Mexican or Guatemalan or American or whatever, and hire them to come in and ride the race on behalf of a Belizean team, with the promise that they would be here to work for the Belizeans to win. That never played out the way they intended to in the past. Those foreigners always came in and got ahead in the breakaways, and left their Belizean teammates behind. And they were the cause of many misery, much misery among the Belizean public on Holy Saturday. So many of those Americans, Mexicans, even Guatemalans who have won our cross country did so riding a Belizean with a Belizean jersey, riding as a teammate of Belizeans. I was part of the movement of trying to get that stopped and having the foreigners come and ride separated from the locals. But it's a matter of debate. My logic behind it was that our best Belizeans were on those teams. And when their foreign teammates rode up the road, it basically handcuffed our top Belizeans because they couldn't chase. Because the man running from them to win the race was their own teammate. And so I saw this play out year after year after year after year, and I lobbied to the administrations in those times, and I told them, you're basically tying the hands of our best cyclists because they can't chase, because it's their, these foreigners are winning our best cyclists' own teammates. And so the best way to have our guys go down fighting to the very last meter is for them to not have a foreign teammate, so that, let them get beat, but let them get beat, going down valiantly in fighting for the win. That wasn't happening. But, you still have the team managers clamoring for, we should be able to bring a foreigner on our team. So that's a matter of debate. The other question really is about sponsorship. Obviously, the fans want a Belizean to win. My take on it, and I think all the cyclists' take on it, is that sport isn't politics. We're here, if we invite somebody, it's like inviting somebody to a party. You can't invite them to a party and tell them you're not invited to the bar or to the food table. If you invite somebody to come to your party, you give them an opportunity to win. And if they win, then it's fair. And the other aspect is the sponsors. There's a lot of clamoring about they're taking our money. The sponsors don't seem to mind. Every year after foreigners win these races, there's talk that, we just let these guys come and take our money and sponsorship will dry out. And next cross country, we raise more money for the next cross country. So that seems to be, we seem to have the sponsors behind it because it's a big event. I think sponsors want a big event. The bigger it is, the more viewers there are, the more the event would be in the spotlight. And I think it would be a lesser event without foreigners. So the sponsors want in when there are more foreigners. The cyclists want the challenge. And so all we need to do is convince the fans that it's good for cycling.
What steps is the Federation taking to actively foster the growth of our young riders? Is the Federation organizing races and creating opportunities for these emerging and seasoned riders?
Yes, actually, the Federation does organize all the traditional classic races. There are also many other races that are held by other outside organizations, race organizers. And so I think the racing helps to develop them. What the Federation does is also try to recruit. I mean, I know the current Federation has actively approached the Ministry of Education as well as the Ministry of Sports to try and get into the school systems and see how they can actually recruit new athletes to come in. And I think the best way to grow the sport is by growing the actual numbers. The larger the field, the better the competition, and the more the Federation has an ability to spot talent. In other words, if you have 10 cyclists or 10 athletes and you try to find a world-class rider or a world-class athlete. It's more difficult among 10 than among 100. And it's more difficult among 100 than if you had 1,000. So really just the volume, just to be able to recruit. And I think the role of the federation then would be to provide training for the coaches, to teach coaches how to coach, how to train, to teach athletes what they need to do with nutrition, with medicine, all legally, to help them to travel to some of the international games and championships that we are invited to. But the best way to develop cyclists to be world class is to have more high-level races, which is why we can't ban foreigners. We need the races to be as high a level as possible. We need 1 or 2 tours, because racing multiple days in a row helps to develop the athletes. We need altitude, because we need to climb to get more power. And altitude training is a big thing among cyclists. It means going up into high mountains and staying there in order to build your actual red blood cell count. It's a huge thing in endurance sports. But these are some of the things that the federation does: the recruiting, the having races, and again games and championships that we do participate in, and trying to spot the next talent. And once you spot a talented rider, then we try and get them to as many races as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Auil. This has been a fruitful discussion, but we do need to take a break. Is there any last words before we break off this segment?
Well, I would just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. And as far as cycling is concerned, yes, please, everybody tune in to the Creme Classic on Monday. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully a Belizean winner. And we look forward to further development of cycling in the new year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll join Destiny with our Innovator of the Week.